Hi everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Monday Night RAWss. That's the name of it, right?
Great name.
Good. I'm Kenny McIntosh. I've returned from America. I am back amongst the land of the British, and I can finally get Iron Brew again. I can live again, and I'm joined by my two underprivileged, underage children, Ross and Jack. Ross, it's lovely to see you sporting, for people who are watching on Tinternet, the WrestleCon t-shirt.
America has obviously caused you to forget that I'm a king.
No, it's not. How was WrestleCon?
Lovely. A weird experience. People bypassing Shelton Benjamin and the Hurricane to come to our table. It was weird.
It was bizarre. But Jack, something big has happened in your life since we last did a Monday Night RAWss. You won a fictional cardboard championship.
Oh, I did, yeah. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Like, where did that stack up for you in terms of like life accomplishments?
It's up there. To be honest, I don't know how... I need to be more full of myself about it, don't I, like Adam? Or do you think this is better, this more casual approach?
I think you've got the more realistic approach because you see it for what it is.
Well, it's a very prestigious belt.
Moving on. So we're going to go back to our old format that we had before, which is something from the weekend. We all bring up a topic, have a quick chat about it, and then it's back to the quiz. Now, obviously, in the past, you guys have been less than stellar in your performance. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to wipe the slate clean. All previous results do not count.
It was a draw, so.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. But, we're going to start again from the beginning, and now what we're going to do is every month I'm going to have a winner, and then I'm going to award them a very, very good prize. Ooh. And when I say very good, I mean the tackiest thing I can find on eBay that I can buy and build to the company. So, the first victor will be crowned on May 2nd, the day after WWE Payback. So we have a couple of weeks for you to build up some quiz knowledge and to win some questions correctly. Win some questions correctly. That's grammatically incorrect.
Good words. Good words.
Good words. So I guess we should kick off does King Ross have anything to say before we begin?
No.
Great.
I was going to say something bad about Blompier, but, I'm having to stand here with this microphone.
So yeah, let Jack, why don't you explain, for the good people at home, why do you two not have your own microphones? Why is the cubed mic here? And why are we standing in what I think we can all agree is ridiculous positions in this show?
It's very uncomfortable, isn't it?
It is very
uncomfortable. I can only blame it on one man, and we all know who he is. He's the king of our hearts, Adam Blompier. Not that kind of king.
Because that was the problem with that statement.
Obviously, we came back from America a week before you did.
Yeah.
And there was a mix-up involving Adam took our equipment back to Newcastle, back to London, and we've got his up here, and there's just not enough.
So, if you want to follow that breaking news story on Twitter, then
I'll post updates. But luckily, he's on his way back anyway. He's up here tomorrow, so it should be all right.
Good. Okay. And just for anyone who follows us on Twitter and has been following our interactions, I can assure you, Jack, that I do not want to ride you in any way, shape, or form.
We could just stay off the topic of fan fiction for the whole show. That would be fantastic. Thank you.
So let's do something from the weekend where that was a very pleasant mic change there.
It's like we've done it before.
It is. So let's talk about something from the weekend. We'll all bring up a topic and can have a quick chat about it. Jack, you are the youngest here, and you are the champion, so that's guess you should go first. What from the weekend would you like to discuss?
Ryback.
Anything in particular?
He had an interview in Dubai, I think it was, wasn't it?
With Miles, yeah.
Yes, and he talked about, he came across, it was quite controversial, he was quite dissatisfied with how life in WWE is going for him. He said, well, first of all, I've got 2 points. He said he was the best big man wrestler, the best big guy in the world.
Well, he is the big guy, so...
He's the only big guy.
He's the only big guy. I feel like there must be better candidates out there than Ryback.
Is that... But he said something else, right?
He said, I can't remember the exact quote, I'm paraphrasing, but he said something along the lines of, I've heard that hard work doesn't necessarily get rewarded in WWE. Maybe I need to go somewhere where it will. What does that mean?
And that's kind of interesting because when I spoke to Ryback in January for WhatCulture to promote SmackDown going to USA, one of the questions I had from him was, there's going to be so many names on WrestleMania, Undertaker, Triple H, etc. And we know that he's not going to be facing them. So what would he like to do? And he said he had a plan. He was going to bring something up to Vince. He had a big idea. I assume the kickoff show in front of 25 of the 100,000 people against Kalisto was maybe not what he had hoped for. Ross, I guess to you first. Ryback, are you surprised at his lack of stimulation in his job?
Well, no, because I just don't care about him.
Did you ever care about him?
Where I stood. I never got the guy in the colourful outfits and that thing. How do I get that thing? It's a stupid taunt.
Don't you think that if he had... It feels like at some point in his career, whether it was the first time when he was getting built up and he was undefeated, or whether it was the second time when they tried to do it again, they're like, there would have been money in a Ryback-Brock Lesnar match, just the two of them beating the absolute crap out of each other. Is that something that would never have appealed to you?
I just don't get it. I prefer Skip Sheffield, as I botched that line. I prefer Skip Sheffield.
Oh, Skip Sheffield.
That cowboy hat was something else.
It was. Jack, you brought it up. What do you think about Big Back Rye?
Quite the same as Ross, to be honest. He's never really appealed to me much at all.
Not even during the kind of CM Punk was the heel champion and whenever there'd be like a big bit of commotion, Ryback would come out and the fans would go crazy.
That was probably his pinnacle. He seems very forced. You know when he does the whole wake up, it's feeding time, all his catchphrase and all his stock lines and stuff, you can tell he's just going through it in his mind as he says it, like, don't mess this up, this is my line, I've got to do it, but it's all, there's nothing too natural about him.
He reads The Secret though.
I didn't get that gimmick either. I don't understand any of what...
He's deep.
He's deep, well, I just can't... I'm the same as Ross, I agree. I don't know... I think he could, if he means he's going to go to another promotion, he could go there and work quite a big storyline because he's a big name now, but I don't think maybe it's the wise move for him because I can't see anything happening really for him in WWE anymore unless they get Goldberg in. Well,
which in 2016 is a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, Ross, what are you going to bring up from the weekend for us to ponder and pontificate?
Those wellness policy suspensions.
Ah.
Poor old Connor is what I'm getting at here. I don't know what they did. But
not Conor McCulloch, but Connor from the Ascension.
Yeah, no. Bad taste. Connor from the Ascension. It is his as Adam Rose, it's his second misdemeanor for the old wellness policy. But Connor's first happened 10 years ago in his first stint in the company. He's since been fired, rehired, and then done it again. And that just seems a little bit unfair to me.
Well, because he didn't even make the main roster the first time, did he?
No, he was in whatever it was before FCW.
OVW.
No.
Deep South.
Deep South, that's the one.
There you go.
He was in that one.
Heartland of America.
And he did something bad there and was suspended. And now he's done something bad again and suspended now, which is just a little bit unfair to me.
But you're okay with Adam Rose's suspension?
Yeah, I don't care.
One less social outcast.
Just, if I had to choose one to go, it would be Adam Rose.
If you had to have sex with one member of the Ascension,
why do you take things this direction all the time?
Would it be Connor or Victor? I'm just curious.
Can I just jump in? I know that Ross has a particularly favourite member of the Ascension. Like, I see them as quite interchangeable. I can't really tell them apart.
Because Connor is the one. Connor is like the second incarnation of the Ascension. Right? He was because Bram was the first.
Right, Ross, Victor. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Victor's Ross's least favourite member of the roster.
It's Connor.
It's Connor.
I think. For me, Connor is the worst worker on the roster. I think he stinks, but I do feel sorry for him.
So you want to see him back?
I don't. No, I feel it's been harshly done by. Is what I'm getting at. I think it should have. The slate should have been wiped clean when he got rehired. So
the answer to your question is, it would be Victor you would choose.
If push came to shove, yeah. I suppose, yeah, as they would say, I suppose.
Great. The last thing that I want to kind of bring up, my God, we've just continued the seamless transition into great radio.
Mm-hmm. And video.
The European tour, the WWE European tour, which is in full swing, and tonight is Monday Night Raw in London. Rumours of maybe Shane turning up or Triple H turning up. It would be quite exciting. But yeah, I want to talk about the Newcastle date in particular, not just because we're in Newcastle, but because the card for Newcastle has been one of the strangest promoted cards I've ever heard of. So originally Daniel Bryan was booked to be there in a non-wrestling capacity. The Undertaker was booked. Now Daniel Bryan's been taken off the show because he can't do anything now. And The Undertaker was booked, then wasn't booked, then was booked, but now isn't booked again. But they've now brought in Triple H to do the Newcastle date to face Dean Ambrose. So the question I had for you is to focus on The Undertaker. So he was supposed to do the full European tour. He was going to team with Kane against the Wyatts. Then he was taken off the full tour. Then he was put back on for the SmackDown taping and the Newcastle show. And then he's been taken off again. Now, Dave Meltzer said at the weekend that he thinks something's going on. There's more to this story than meets the eye. So I feel like part of it could be that Meltzer had spoken about how The Undertaker maybe saw WrestleMania 32 as his last. And he's conflicted about doing a house show in Newcastle.
Or he's just absolutely knackered after that Hell in a Cell.
Or he's absolutely knackered after Hell in a Cell. So I just, to kind of throw questions at both of you and take them both, do you think there's more to the story? Do you think WrestleMania 32 would be a good way for Undertaker to go out? And thirdly, like, should WWE be held kind of more accountable for who they promote on shows? Because, like, if I lived in Newcastle and I was like, right, okay, I'm going to go and see a WWE show. Oh, wow, Daniel Bryan, The Undertaker on it. I'm going to book a ticket for those two guys. And then when they're both taken off, I'm stuck with a 50 quid ticket or 60 quid ticket, and I'm not getting either of those guys. Thoughts on those questions?
Well, the promotion for the event has been built solely around The Undertaker being there in the past sort of since November-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And him not being there just screams to me, refunds. Refunds everywhere. Disgruntled people. Unhappy people.
Because if you're in the States and John Cena is advertising a show and he doesn't appear, they give you the first 30 minutes of the show to go and get a refund.
No.
So is that happening in Newcastle?
Nope.
Why?
Well, the show is sold out, and nobody,
Because of The Undertaker being there, probably.
because of the Undertaker being there. But what about the whole kind of, you know, Dave Meltzer talking about there being more to the story, WrestleMania maybe being his last? What do you think about all that? Because you were there in Dallas for Hell in a Cell.
I mean, he walked out this year, which was a bit of a Brucey bonus, but I just think he'd be knackered. He's just like he's beaten up. He's an old man now. He can't hack the relentlessness of being a superstar these days.
So you don't think there's more to it? Do you think
I don't. I just can't. What? Why? What? Like?
you see him at WrestleMania 33?
I think he's got to because he's old school and he'll go out on a defeat. I don't think he'll go out on a win. So
Interesting. Jack and Nakanori, all the questions above.
The king of strong style. I think I agree with Ross on the promotion of the tour. I think it's very disappointing. Don't know what they could have done about it really, but they kind of landed themselves in it now.
Because now it's a double main event in Newcastle. AJ Styles and Jericho.
Ambrose and Triple H.
Triple H.
and the United States triple threat.
And the United States triple threat.
Kalisto, Ryback, and
Somebody else.
is it Del Rio?
Yes, it's Del Rio. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I agree with Ross on that one. I'm annoyed because I agree with Ross on pretty much all of them. But you came to me second, so I don't know.
Have you got any of your own points that you want to?
Yeah, well, just on the subject of would it be a fitting way for Undertaker to go out? Because when we were there in the stadium, because we were there at WrestleMania, everyone, Ross pointed out to me as they left the ring that Undertaker had left his gloves in the ring, and there was some sort of point about, like, he said that his gloves were his legacy, and if he left them in the ring, Ross was like, maybe he's just retired. But I think now we've realised that can't be his retirement. That's too underwhelming a way to go out. I'm not saying the match was underwhelming, like that spot off the top of the cell was unbelievable.
I think the match was underwhelming.
But the match itself was underwhelming, or the moment was underwhelming, because you had all this storyline potential if Shane won, and then he just lost.
But then he really kind of won because he got control of it.
Yeah, that was just his dad. Well done. Proud of you. Go on.
And he's GM for SmackDown now, isn't he?
He's GM for SmackDown. Hang on.
Yeah, he's because Undertaker's off the SmackDown show.
Oh.
They brought Shane in as a replacement. I mean, at least they're trying somebody.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, I doubt he's going to jump off the top of anything.
No.
Maybe he'll jump off the ring apron for a laugh.
Like stand there for half a minute. Like.
Yeah, it's like I feel like WrestleMania 32 would be a really bad way for Undertaker to go out, because it seems like now that we're kind of removed from WrestleMania and a bit of time's passed, that what they actually did was, we all hoped the Shane thing would be this big storyline, it would be this big thing, but really I think it was just, who can we get Undertaker to fight that people will be interested in, and that's it, and then Undertaker's going to beat him. And somebody, David McCutcheon, that does the Raw Reaction, he made a really good point, which I hadn't thought of, and he said, I predicted Undertaker would win all along. And I was like, why? Why were you so sure? And he said, because there's no way that Undertaker would only have 2 losses at WrestleMania. One to Brock Lesnar
One to Shane.
and one to Shane McMahon, which is kind of a good point.
I thought the only way that it would happen would be either a lot of run-outs, like so many run-ins, or
Couple of run-outs
or
as
he
well.
does it to run out, or because Vince was a bit mean to Undertaker in the build-up.
I don't know if we can say this. He called him his bitch.
Yeah, he did.
Sorry, guys. I mean, just if you've got children, maybe just don't let them listen anymore.
But then I thought he might like have the match won and then lie down and then. But it's not the Undertaker's way, is it? Is the Undertaker?
He is the Undertaker. Ross, any parting words on the subject?
Nope.
Great, you're on fire today. So it's time for the main event of the show. It's time for the quiz. Jack, are you ready for this?
Yes.
Ross, are you? I don't know why you're going to give me a one-word answer, but are you ready for this?
Well, I'm feeling quite positive today, Kenny.
So
know.
I put a tweet out last night and I said, you guys in the Twitter sphere can decide the topic.
I voted on the poll.
Did you?
I voted for TNA.
I voted for Raw.
And Raw won.
Oh dear.
Wow. Okay. Although there was a really cruel part of me that really would have loved to put you both through a TNA quiz. Because, I mean, you're bad enough with WWE quizzes.
It was a tactical vote because I think my TNA knowledge edges yours probably.
I didn't watch TNA. Never have done. Never will do.
That's why I voted for TNA.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Like I said at the beginning, we are wiping everything clean. It's a new contest. 0-0. We're going to have three rounds. No, 4 actually. We're going to have the 1990s. You get 2 questions each. The 2000s, 2 questions each. 2010s, 2 questions each. And then the final round is the theme song round.
Oh, it's back.
Yes, it is.
Where I will give you some.
We're such fans of the old theme song round, Kenny,
I'll give
honestly.
you some lines
Can't believe
from Raw theme songs, and your job is to tell me. You don't have to be exact. Like, I don't need the song title and the artist. I just need you to be succinct enough that I know that you're talking about the song that I'm trying to give you. So,
I can't wait.
how are we going to decide? I'm going to do something. I'm going to break the fourth wall here. Sam is off camera. Sam, you're going to decide who goes first. Jack is going to go first.
What was that? Cheeky Club for life, that's why.
Kayfabe is strong.
My stomach is not. Okay, so we're going to go to the 1990s, and we start off with you, Jack. Okay? Now, you have 30 seconds, each of you, to answer your question. I don't care what the other one thinks. Doesn't matter. It's just for the person whose question it is. So, Jack. Shawn Michaels was defeated in 1993 on Raw for the Intercontinental
That's
Championship.
early 90s, that, but alright.
Shawn Michaels was defeated on Raw in 1993 for his Intercontinental Championship. Who beat him to win the belt?
Early 90s.
Do you know this one?
Maybe.
Okay.
Or maybe not.
Have a think about the time period.
Yeah.
Who maybe won the belt?
I've got an answer.
Okay, well, your time's almost up, so you may as well give me an answer.
Owen Hart.
Owen Hart.
Why is that a bad guess?
Owen Hart, who at that point was all dressed in blue and on Wrestling Challenge. Just out of curiosity, Ross, there's no points for it, but who would you said?
Your boy Jannetty.
It was Marty Jannetty, who won the Intercontinental Championship from his former partner. So, Jack, 0 out of 1. Okay. Going to continue the theme of Shawn Michaels here.
Lovely.
And start a theme of post-WrestleMania RAWs, which is going to be part of this. Okay, Ross. Who attacked Shawn Michaels on the post-WrestleMania Raw in 1995, putting him out of action for several weeks?
Goldust.
So you didn't elect to take 30 seconds to even have a jog of the old memory.
No. We'll dive in there.
Have you ever seen Goldust attack Shawn Michaels on a post-WrestleMania Raw? Has that ever happened?
It just made sense in my mind.
Can I have a guess?
Sure.
Is it Diesel?
No, it's not. So you're both atrocious. The answer was...
I got the first one right.
Okay, you're less atrocious.
Thank you.
The answer was Sid, who was Shawn Michaels' bodyguard when the night before Diesel defeated Shawn at WrestleMania 11. So, no, that doesn't make you right.
No, it was a better guess.
It was a better guess. We're clutching at straws here to see who's better. Okay. Question number 2. It's 0-0, Jack. It's all to play for.
It's a real relegation
One
scrap,
of these
this,
days,
isn't it?
someone's going to get something right. Okay, I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit because I feel like if I don't, it's just pointless. In 1998, Sergeant Slaughter was the commissioner of the World Wrestling Federation. But in November of that year, he gave up the post and it was given to someone else, who in November of 1998 was crowned the new WWF Commissioner.
I don't know.
You have 30 seconds.
Right. Well, I mean, in my head, I've got Foley and Michaels, but they were later. They were after. They were like sort of turn of the century. Who could have been? How long? Oh, I can't ask for a clue. I was going to say how long can.
I'll repeat the facts. Sergeant Slaughter was the commissioner, and in November of 1998, it went to someone else. You have about 10 seconds left.
This is a bit of a weird one, but I'll go. I'll say Vince McMahon.
Okay, so let's talk through what happened. So, on that Raw in November of 1998, Vince McMahon came out and explained that his friend Sergeant Slaughter had decided to give up the commissionership.
Yeah, so I thought it was a very Vince thing to be like, I'll take it for myself,
so
damn
Vince
it, you know
would
what I
then
mean?
announce who the other commissioner would
But
be.
do you get do you see why I thought that was a trick question?
I do. I feel really bad for you, actually. Because,
really?
like, you did mention the person. It was Shawn Michaels in November of 1998 who became commissioner.
Has he had a separate stint later on as commissioner?
No. He was commissioner from November 98 through to May 2000.
I think he was also like a guest commissioner or something, like in 2000.
No, he was still commissioner in 2000.
Oh, it lasted that long?
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say I'd be 2-0 up now if I was doing if I went first. This is devastating.
You can blame Sam off camera who picked for Jack to go first. Okay, now I've asked you a similar question like this before, but you have 30 seconds. I just want you to
It's not my style, Kenny.
But just think, just have a think, because that's always better than just saying gold dust, right? Okay, here's the question, to see if we can get 1 point out of the 1990s round. What year did the WWF first have an episode of Raw emanate from the historic Madison Square Garden? What's coming into your mind? Any thoughts?
The Manhattan Centre's in my mind for some reason. And sirens. And Goldust.
Goldust was on the Raw from Madison Square Garden, actually.
I don't know. I'm going to go 95. Just a stab in the dark because I have no logical reason to work another one out.
Jack, just out of curiosity, what would your answer have been?
I wasn't even trying to think. I don't know.
Great. Okay, so you were wrong.
Of
The answer was 1997, which was when Steve Austin stunnered Vince McMahon for the first time. Cactus Jack first appeared.
Why did it take that long?
Yeah.
Because they always did it in smaller venues, and it was only until they got bigger and
Because it was Raw.
because it was Raw. So it's 0-0. Shockingly.
Should be 2-0 though.
Now we're going to get into the 2000s and see how we go. I just want a quick kind of. I'm just going to ask off camera. Sam, how enthralled are you in this quiz?
I'm good. You didn't get 1997 because I knew that.
Sam knew it.
Sam knew the Madison Square Garden
It's
question.
easy when you sat behind the camera, isn't it? You got these lights bellowing down.
He can't do what you do, Ross,
I am the king.
which is make a mockery of pro wrestling.
We're the best in the, we're the best in the world at what we do, making a mockery of pro wrestling.
But do you think like a junkie on the street goes, "I'm the best junkie in the world"? No, they don't.
Maybe in Glasgow, you tell me.
You're from. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna engage upon this frivolous conversation. Okay, the 2000s. It's back to you, Jack. I don't have faith in you, but let's try.
No, this is when I started watching. In 2000, in fact.
Which former WCW star debuted on WWE TV on the post-WrestleMania Raw of 2003?
Goldberg.
You didn't even want time to think that through?
I'm regretting that now, but go on. Goldberg.
The answer was Goldberg.
Yes!
It
Come
is
on.
1-0 to Jack and Akinori.
Woo!
It would be 3-0 to Ross and Osanori if it was the other way around. Here we are. This is where we stand.
Okay, now I want you to think about this one. Because no, but honestly, because like, if you really think about it, you should be able to get it. Okay?
I should be able to get it,
Okay.
but I won't.
There was a battle royal in 2003 on Raw to determine the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 19. Who won the battle royal to go on to that WrestleMania to challenge for the World Championship?
Booker T.
Is correct. It's 1-all.
Just dive straight in there, head first.
There you go.
That's what we're here for. Bit of excitement.
Bit of excitement. Give it back to Jack. Okay, excitement abound. 1-all. Here we go. We're gonna amp it up here.
Quick fire, come on.
Okay.
Flames everywhere.
Okay, Jack. Here we go. In 2004, a top Raw star was drafted to SmackDown as part of the annual draft. But at the end of that night, Eric Bischoff would give SmackDown the Dudley Boys and Booker T to get that top star back. Who was the top star? You get 30 seconds. Talk me through what you're thinking.
2004. See, I'm trying to think, would Cena have been big enough by this point for it to be him?
No.
Seen this mind games from Ross over here? The Dudley Boys and Booker T, did you say?
Yes. So the top Raw star was
I've
drafted
got
to
it,
SmackDown.
and then went back.
And then
See, I think I know this, but I just can't think who it is. No, I'll go for John Cena. I will.
you're going to go for John Cena.
Yeah.
Okay. John Cena at that point was part of SmackDown.
Right.
The star from Raw was Triple H. And this was during Triple H's reign of doom. Did you know this?
Of course.
Do you know what I've done? Do you know what I've done?
What have you
Because this
done?
happened to Cena later on, didn't it?
Happened to him the next year. But he never
The
got...
very next year.
No, he got drafted to Raw the next year.
No, he's done the switchback in the same night, but that was far later, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I've been mugged off here, Kenny.
Yeah, you can blame Sam, like I say.
I know.
All I did was come up with questions. Okay, here we go.
I will WTF him.
It is 1-all. You can walk out of the 2000s with the lead of 2-1 if you can get this right. Continuing the draft. In 2002, the WWE draft began 8 days after WrestleMania 18.
Mm-hmm.
Vince McMahon got the first draft pick out of everybody. Who did he choose as the first draft pick?
Good Lord. Since you've...
Just out of curiosity, while you're doing this, Jack, do you think you know it?
Yeah.
I should know it. I was watching these Raws over the weekend, actually. But here I am, stumped with the lights bellowing down on me. Since you've gone WrestleMania 18, I'll have to go Triple H, just because he walked away the champion.
Cool. Okay, so just to give a bit of background to people, the original draft in 2002 meant that any star could be drafted onto either show. The only exceptions were the WWE Champion
Yes, they were.
and the WWE Women's Champion, which meant that Triple H and Jazz
We're not exclusive.
were not exclusive.
Which renders my answer a little bit silly, doesn't it?
Does. So, Jack, who would you have gone for?
The Rock.
You would have been correct. And Sam has given me a motion off camera of course it's The Rock.
Yeah.
Of course it is The Rock.
Sorry. Because wasn't that when Austin was like a late add-on and he signed the 2 contracts and then he
Yeah,
stunned?
because he walked out. So yeah.
Rub it in.
Is 1-1 still?
It is 1-all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay. It is time for the 2010s round. Jack,
Yeah.
here is your question. These are going to be all based around the show Raw 1000. Do we all remember Raw 1000?
Like bits, not really.
Okay. Jack, CM Punk turned heel on Raw 1000 at the end of the show by attacking The Rock. But what was the main event match of that show before CM Punk turned heel?
The Rock versus The Miz.
So let's just clarify what's happened here. This is 2012. You think The Rock wrestled on Raw in 2012?
I thought he came. I thought it was
You
a
thought that
run-in.
when he came
I thought
back
it was
for
a
once in a
run-in. I
lifetime.
thought it was a run-in.
Just give the microphone.
He
to
was
Ross.
wrestling around that time.
On WrestleMania and the Survivor Series, not
Yeah,
on
you're
Raw.
right. You wouldn't have given that away.
Give the mic to Ross. Despicable.
That was a silly answer.
Ross, what would your answer have been?
No comment. It's not my question to answer.
That was the night where John Cena cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase against CM Punk and was unsuccessful, just like you are in this quiz. So, 1-all. You could advance by leading 2-1 if you get this question right. I'm not going to ask you to think about it.
Theme song round.
Yeah, true. But he could advance to the theme song round with a lead.
All right.
Here we go. D-Generation X reunited on Raw 1000. Except China. And Ravishing Rick Rude because he was dead. But
You are such a dark human being in the times.
Everyone.
First
his wife gets royalties, it's fine. Anyway, so D-Generation X don't look so I've heard you say far worse off camera. Don't you look at me.
Me?
Some of the things you say about women, it's disgusting. So
Your morals are questionable when it comes to women.
honestly, ladies, you would not like to hear the language that he uses to describe you.
I'm very respectful.
D-Generation X reunited on Raw 1000. It was X-Pac, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, Triple H and Shawn Michaels. They were interrupted and they attacked the man who interrupted them. Who interrupted them?
Heath, Slater, baby. Please.
Heath Slater, in the lead up to Raw 1000, was being beaten up by legends every single week. That's what was happening.
I realised I'm wrong.
And he was beaten by Lita on Raw 1000.
And the rest of the
legends.
the crew.
The man who interrupted D-Generation X is a man that we hold very close to our hearts and that we wish was more in the spotlight than he was. It was the intellectual saviour, Damien Sandow. Which again, Sam is giving me the message of course it was Damien Sandow.
We've had a shock. This could be the worst one we've had so far.
I feel like Sam should really just be on the channel rather than you two because he knows.
Then we'll see how he does.
We'll see how he does. Okay. Although I feel like if Sam was on here, he'd be like, can't you just ask some New Japan questions? And I'd be like, what's Nakamura's first name? So, the last question in the 2010 round.
Oh, serious.
Here is the question. Now, these are both post-Mania Raw related questions, and they are both, they're both quite similar. So, Jack, you go first. Dolph Ziggler cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase on Raw the night after WrestleMania 29. What match took place before he cashed in?
Alberto Del Rio versus... Oh, God.
You still got 20 seconds.
Someone who, knocked his leg. Someone who really hurt his leg, I think.
What
He really hurt his leg.
Did he kick the leg out of his leg?
Yeah, he kicked the leg out of his leg.
That was
I
Owen
remember
Hart
it was-
said that in the 1990s. Owen Hart was Brett's brother.
oh,
I'm going to have to push for an answer. 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2,
Miz.
1. I really thought that was going to be quite an obvious one. Sam, was that obvious?
What was the question?
wasn't listening.
The question was, Dolph Ziggler cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase on Raw the night after WrestleMania 29. What was the match right before he cashed in? And Jack correctly told us it was Alberto Del Rio, but who did he face? Do you know?
Someone who knocked his leg.
I've just got your boy in the head.
Well, Big E.
Big E.
Storming down to the ring with him.
Yeah, with
AJ.
that's all I can remember.
The match that took place right before that was actually a rematch from the World Heavyweight Championship match the night before. It was Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger.
No wonder he didn't know. Jack Swagger.
Okay. On that same show, Ross, the night after WrestleMania 29, John Cena was viciously attacked at the end of the show. By who? It's the night after WrestleMania 29. John Cena just won his title, just beat The Rock.
I'm going to look for a new job in the morning.
Still 1-1 for anyone counting at home out of the 9 questions we've asked so far.
I would be winning if it was the other way around. Just let's get that clear. I'll go with your man CM Punk.
CM Punk, who was defeated by The Undertaker the night before.
Yeah.
Jack?
Was not Brocky Lesnar?
No, it
What
wasn't
was
Brock Lesnar.
which Raw? That was a Raw after Mania as well.
prancing
Yeah, I
man.
know. I thought I was right. Oh, this is.
You're thinking of the Raw the night after WrestleMania 28
Was that after he
where
just
Lesnar
lost to the
returned.
Raw? Was that when Cena had just lost to the Raw?
No, he didn't attack him then.
When did Lesnar come back?
The Raw after WrestleMania 28.
Yes, when Cena had just lost to the Raw.
Oh, yes, okay,
Yeah.
you're correct. Yeah.
Well, no, I don't know.
Great, thanks for taking us through that. The answer of who attacked John Cena to close the show actually takes us back to a topic earlier on. It was Ryback.
No.
Because Ryback turned heel that night, which, interestingly enough, I was in the building, and we had no clue he turned heel. We were all just so happy that he attacked John Cena. So we're still on 1-1.
I don't know why I've got that.
Joke.
It's time for the theme song round. There's one question. Now, the problem with the theme song round is that I can't really look at Jack when I do this because Jack laughs quite intently.
It's good.
So it's difficult for me to get through it, but I'm going to try my best. There's one question each, and I don't really have any tiebreakers. I'm going to have to make one up. So I'd prefer if one of you get this right and one of you don't.
Try our best.
We'll sort that out for you.
Cool. Okay. Jack, this is a Monday Night Raw theme. I need you to be as specific as you can about what the song is,
Yeah.
and I'll determine whether you're correct. Here are the lyrics that you need. I'm going to obviously read them in a way that is not how they were sung
Yeah.
by the various artists who may have verbally
So
sung
let's
them.
rock this joint till the sunset.
Okay, so Jack, here is the quote. Get the guns,
Oh,
the drugs
oh.
from my generation. I'll take the fall,
They say.
the Saints.
Oh, the Saints. Across the nation.
Across the Nation is correct by Union Underground. Jack has got the point.
That might have been easy. I'm sorry.
That might have been the easiest Raw theme of all time to get.
No, it wasn't. I could have said, Tonight is the night.
Oh, I don't know the name.
The Night.
Of the song. Yeah.
It's called Tonight's the Night.
Oh. Ross, your question. Tonight is the night.
Ross, this is your question. Now, I specifically gave this one to you, Ross, because I didn't want to give it to Jack because I thought it would be too easy for him, because it's more his genre of music. So I'm hopeful that you can get this. Now, this song was suggested to me by James Dixon of WhatCulture. So
Is it Slam Jam?
would you like the lyrics first?
Yeah, I would like the lyrics
And
first,
also
please.
just to let you know, Slam Jam was never a Raw theme.
No, the band was called Slam Jam. Thorn in Your Eye,
Oh, okay.
I believe it was called.
Full metal. band.
Okay.
Okay, Ross, here are the lyrics to your song. It's really difficult to say these lyrics not in the way they were meant to be told. Okay, Ross,
Kenny.
you can't see the forest for the trees, and you can't smell.
Your own poo on your knees.
Is correct.
Marilyn Manson. The Beautiful People.
That is correct.
Was that a Raw theme?
It was.
Was that like for one night or something?
1997. That was the first Raw's War theme.
Interesting.
So we're at a tie break. We're at 2-2.
Who would have thought it?
Okay, so I'm just gonna. This is gonna be difficult. Right. What I want you to do.
We'll have to.
Sam's gonna hate me for this. I want you to give me the mic here. I'm gonna sit the mic down. Okay. If you have the answer, put your hand on the mic.
Oh.
She's going to get tasty, this.
Now remember, this is a microphone, so you just
Not a bugger.
gently plop your hand. Do not terrorize it into the table. Okay. Now, while I quickly think of a question, okay, so it has to be from Raw. I was going to ask you what decade you want, but you're obviously going to say the 2010s, right? That's
1990s.
Ne-
Early 90s. Marty Jannetty.
I'd go for 2000.
okay. I'll give you a question from the turn of the century. On Monday Night Raw in 2000, Mick Foley was the commissioner of the WWF, but it was a very difficult job for him, so he had to hire some help and hire a lieutenant commissioner. Who was it?
Was it just Joe? Do you remember him and the
Can you
boys?
just put the mic down? Ross, would you care to pick up the microphone with a guess? And we'll just ignore that Just Joe was mentioned.
Who's Just Joe?
Exactly.
No, you know who just Joe is though.
I did, but he was never. He was Mick Foley's lieutenant commissioner. On what basis is that your opinion? I want to hear this. Is there a basis for that?
I just remember his whole gimmick was just skulking around the back, trying to like cause a bit of trouble. He might have weaseled his way into a one night angle, just with as Mick Foley's assistant.
Ross,
Do you want to know my thinking?
go for it. I'd love to hear your
My thinking is a bathroom scene with Edge and Christian. But that's two men, not one. And you're talking about one lieutenant commissioner, I do believe.
I am talking about one of the lieutenant commissioners.
So I'm going to go with Al Snow. I'm going to dive in there head first and go Al Snow.
The problem is that you you've taken a line. You're not taking a line, but you've taken a line that I had said, and and you've taken me out of context. I never said the Lieutenant Commissioner was a man. The Lieutenant Commissioner.
Can we guess until we're wrong? Because I know it now.
No, because you know I've given it away. It was Deborah.
Yeah.
You people. Okay.
What are we?
So I was thinking of another question. Mike back down. Okay.
Can we end it as a draw this week or not?
No, we can't. Okay, I'm going to go back to the 1990s because, that's what we have to do. Okay, so here is the question. In 1998, Steve Austin had a match with Vince McMahon on Raw, which was the first night where WCW lost the ratings in 83 weeks. The match was deemed a no contest when somebody attacked Steve Austin to set up the next pay-per-view. Who attacked Steve Austin on Raw right after WrestleMania 14 to set up 2 pay-per-view matches back-to-back at Unforgiven and Over the Edge? It was a character of a man. The man had more than one character.
Ow. Mick Foley.
Please tell me you weren't about to pick up the mic.
What was I doing that for? This has happened again, ladies and gentlemen. In Dallas, Texas, we had a quiz. And Kenny gave Jack the answer. What was the answer he gave you?
I don't remember.
He gave you an answer anyway. And then he took one away from me where he said that where he said that Mike Tyson was a special guest referee.
He was.
He wasn't. He was the guest enforcer was
It's
the
the same
title.
thing.
No.
Right, now can I just clarify what happened there was the microphone was here, right? I said the first person to do this. Jack had his hand above and he went, you're the one that went, boo, and couldn't get your hand above.
I do
That's
feel.
not my fault.
In fairness, I do feel for Ross because, I mean, as he
We've
went
gone
to
really
go
long.
for it, you went. The man's got more than one character, and I was like, well, it can only be one person.
Right, fine, put it down. I'll do
No,
one more.
no,
put it down. Put it down.
No, it's all right.
The end.
He's got it.
It's gone.
Okay, so Jack, you have won. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, it's not really a victory,
It carries on.
but
into
you
the
won
next.
3-2.
Yeah,
So you have won this week.
I'm not proud.
You're not proud.
That was
We'll carry on next
dubious
week
victory.
with more trivia. I'll try and dumb it down more. Don't know how I can, but I'll try.
Can we do football next week?
Great. Yeah, we'll do a football quiz on which footballers have turned up at wrestling events. Capital Carnage 98. Okay, Jack, what's your Twitter handle for anybody who doesn't know it?
At Jack_the jobber.
Not the Jobber.
Again, the jobber.
Ross.
Ross on wrestling.
Wrestling without a W. And I've been Kenny McIntosh, Kenny MC 1985. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm away to console these two absolute atrocious wrestling journalists.
I'm going for a pint.
So, we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.